I'm Andy. Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. Album review time. On this video I'll be telling you about an album from a Chicago atmospheric death doom band called Avernus, and their album is Grievances, which is out on September the 20th 2024 through M Theory Audio. Now, this band have been around for a long time, formed in 1992, but this is their first release in about 27 years. They released an album called Of the Fallen in 1997. They've released lots of EPs and demos and splits in that sort of middle period. This is their first release for a long time. I'm not quite sure why the gap and what the band have been doing in subsequent years. I think there's a bit of a hiatus, but not much in the way of output in those years. But this has been well worth the wait. It's a really good album. The constant and founding member is a chap called Rick McCoy. He's the guitarist and vocalist. And this band I would say, are for fans for early Paradise Lost, My Dying Bride, Anathema. You know, the Peaceful Three UK doom death bands that are still going and, you know, formed in the 90s, and others like While Heaven Wept was another one that came to mind when I was reviewing the album. But this is a really strong album. I really enjoyed reviewing it. It's a long one, 10 tracks, 5 what I'd call sort of real proper songs, but each of those sort of weighing at 8-9 minutes. So a lot of material there for your money. I'll go through sort of track by track if that's all right. Starts off with a sort of intro track called Calling the Void, which has sort of simple hanging chords, and there's a sort of a choir in the background, choir sort of vocals with the sort of synths, and it really does set the tone for the rest of the album, which goes into the sort of track number 2, which is Nemesis, which they have released as a sort of first single in the accompanying video, so you can check that out now if you want. It's 9.5 minutes. It's got a memorable lead sort of riff that, in my mind, they sort of overuse, and it's repeated a lot throughout the song, and it features in most of the sort of musical passages. It's harmonised at some points as well, just to sort of break up a little bit, but it's got sort of low growling vocals, which is very typical of the genre, but it's a really good sort of opening song. And as I say, check out the video if you want. Next one is Exitus, Exitus, like the Latin in this band. It's got sort of slow, low end single note riff to start it off, and it's got a sort of complementary synths that sort of create sort of a string sound, almost like the sort of violin. It's very mournful, and there's there's not a guitar solo in the middle of this song. It's sort of like My Dying Bride. Sort of the lead is played on this synth, which is replicating the string sound. That's a really good track. And then we've got the sort of first of the sort of many interlude songs throughout this album. It's called Plateau, and if you imagine, those of you old enough to remember Iron Maiden's debut album, they've got a song there called Strange World. If you think about Iron Maiden, if they were to reimagine that song for the 21st century, it'd sound a little bit like this Plateau. It's the same sort of guitar tone, same sort of format of notes played. That's what came to mind when I heard the song. Next we've got Burning Down, which dives straight into the vocals. It's even slower than the preceding songs, and that's saying something, because it is a very slow tempo album, and you know there's absolute despair driven from the guitar chords. You know, it sets the tone very well. It's got a clean guitar mid-section, which is very haunting as well. They do create some great sounds with the guitar and the music. Next up is another song that's been released as a video. I haven't seen this one. It might be a lyric video, I'm not absolutely sure, but it's very reminiscent of Turn Loose the Swans, My Dying Bride. Features that violin sound again. I don't think it's a true stringed instrument. I'm sure it's sort of replicated on a keyboard or a synth, but it really fits the music really well. Another interlude is called Open Arms. It's faster in tempo. It almost sounds sort of positive compared to the rest of what we've heard so far, because the notes are sort of in a high register, and it sort of, to me, sort of brings up images of, you know, satellites and spacecraft going through space. It's got that sort of almost futuristic sound, which sort of leads into the next one, which is also sort of, I haven't counted this as a true song because it's shorter than the rest, and it's very different because it carries on that sci-fi feel. Sort of starts with sort of stadium rock band keyboards. It's almost out of place for the rest of the album. It's got a sort of robotic sci-fi vocal in there as well, which you can't sort of distinguish the lyrics. So it's a bit of a strange track there, although it goes into more typical growls towards the end. Track number 9 is again sort of follows on from this sort of space theme they've created in the previous 2 interludes. Came to mind to me. It's called Abandoned, by the way, and to me, I thought of there's a ambient noise project called Sleep Research Facility, and one of their albums is purely based on the ship from the film Alien, Nostromo, floating through space. Just that kind of ambient sound that a big hulking spaceship might create in your mind, and that's how this song starts and sort of features all the way through. Really good. And the closing track is called Quietus, again sort of Latin feel to that. Really good opening riff, still got that really glacial tempo, really slow, haunting midsection with the keyboards and big riffs as well. So you know, across that probably an hour or so of music, if not more, we've got sort of 10 true songs with sort of 4 interludes and Utopia Euphoria, which is very different with its sort of robotic vocals. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. We've got a rating system, basically out of 4. If it's 4 out of 4, one that we really like, we would term it as a headliner. If it's not quite as good as a headliner, obviously it's a sort of main support. Next level down is opening act, and if it's really poor, which we've never had on the channel, you know, 1 out of 4, we would say get back to rehearsal studios. That's how we rate the albums at the moment that we're doing. No surprise, I really enjoyed this album. It's the best new material I've heard this year, so it was an absolute pleasure to review this one. So unsurprisingly, it's a headliner for me. Really good. I mean, Death Doom is my music all day long, and this is a really good example of it. They do it very well. There's enough variation in the track to keep in the songs to keep you interested, you know, because it is a long one. But for me, start to finish, it was really enjoyable. I didn't have to sort of do it in chunks and pick out songs. I listened to it several times, start to finish. It was really that good. So I'm going to check out the music videos. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, this is out September the 20th. Look out for it on the streaming platforms. Get yourself a physical copy if you can. So that's Grievances by Avernus. If you've enjoyed the video today, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on another review video very soon. Thanks very much. Bye bye.